The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus said, "Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You are like whitewashed tombs, which appear beautiful on the outside, but inside are full of dead men's bones and every kind of filth. Even so, on the outside you appear righteous, but inside you are filled with hypocrisy and evildoing. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You build the tombs of the prophets and adorn the memorials of the righteous. And you say, if we had lived in the days of our ancestors, we would not have joined them in shedding the prophets' blood. Thus you bear witness against yourself that you are the children of those who murdered the prophets. Now fill up what your ancestors measured out." The Gospel of the Lord. I was reading this passage in the context of the entire Gospel of Matthew this morning, and the next line after this, he says that you are children of those who murdered the prophets, and the next line is, "You brood of vipers," which means children of snakes. And he calls them children of the devils. And who's going to save you from hell? So anyway, he wasn't currying human favor, was he? He wasn't looking to win a popularity contest at this juncture in his ministry. In fact, he never was looking forward to winning a popularity contest. Today, we celebrate St. Louis, King of France. And I'm going to quote to you all a little excerpt from a letter that he wrote to one of his children, to his son. "My dearest son, my first instruction is that you would love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your strength. Without this, there is no salvation. Keep yourself, my son, from everything that you know displeases God. That is to say, from every mortal sin. You should permit yourself to be tormented by every kind of martyrdom before you would allow yourself to commit a mortal sin." And he goes on to exhort his son to live a Christian life, to live a life of self-control, to live a life of sacrifice. And in this, he is both a model king and a model father. And so we hold up the life of St. Louis to be learned about and kind of emulated as a Christian father and as a Christian king. St. Paul, in his letter to the Thessalonians, he says, "As you know, we treated each one of you as a father treats his children." And how is a father to treat his children? By encouraging you, by exhorting you, by insisting that you walk in a manner worthy of God. And so we see this consistency between our saint of the day and Paul speaking about the responsibility of a parent to their children to encourage them to walk in a Christian way, which is not always the easiest thing to do, okay? You know, I am not standing up here as a model example of that, okay? Other than the fact that I try to live up to my title as Pastor Father Mike, you know, by encouraging and exhorting to live a Christian life. Jesus struggled without a doubt with all of the temptations that we struggle with. He was tempted in every way but never sinned. And no doubt one of the challenges that he would have faced was human respect. And this would have been undoubtedly one of the challenges that King Louis, King of France, experienced, human respect. And I read this little excerpt on human respect this morning. And it's King of France, and where was the guillotine invented? It was invented in France. And what was it invented for? To chop people's heads off that didn't line up with the with the French Revolution, essentially. So here it is. Human respect is the guillotine of the saints. It has a suicidal effect and a deadly capacity to cut short the action of a zealous heart. Human respect renders love of God and souls sterile because it is nothing but pride disguised as fear, doubt, or sophism, not wanting to hurt others' feelings. True charity, on the other hand, gives testimony to the truth regardless of the consequences that it may bring, even persecution, even the sword. Which brings us back to Jesus. And the way Jesus spoke to the scribes and Pharisees, woe to you hypocrites, woe to you blind guides. And you know, he doesn't want their human respect. He wants to wake them up. Shake them out of their sleep. He is striving to be a good leader, just as St. Louis, King of France, was writing so clearly and eloquently with love to his son, just as St. Paul wrote so clearly and so eloquently to the communities that he established in faith. So today, as we remember St. Louis, King of France, we pray that we may, as he exhorted his own son, that we may exhort our children, our neighbors, our friends, and that we would shun human respect in favor of the love of God and the love of our neighbor. This is your invitation to give yourself a beautiful gift. Are you interested in Catholicism, learning more about the Catholic faith? We have a process here at Our Lady of the Gulf to teach, to grow in faith, and we want you to join.